everyone, I'm Tara and this is Loving Ocean Tarot. Welcome if this is your first time here, and welcome back if you have been here before. Today I have a pick a card reading for you guys, and we are going to be asking the cards the question of what is some good luck that is coming towards you now. And I don't really have like a very specific timeline for when this good luck is going to come in, but I have placed the intention that this is for something that's coming into your life fairly soon. So I would say within a month, or like maximum of like 1.5 to 2 months. And the way this goes is that you pick from one of these 3 piles that I have for you, and you can do so based either on your intuition or based on the crystals that I've placed on each of these piles. And then you head down to the description box where I've written down the timestamps for when your reading will start. So before we head into it, I'm just going to show you like a quick close-up of each of these 3 crystals, and then you can go ahead and make your selection. You can also select more than one pile if you feel drawn to more than one. Maybe you have more little pieces of good luck coming towards you. And yeah, let me show you what crystals we have for you. So for pile number 1, we have this unnamed crystal. I think it's an aquamarine. I will write down if it's something different. For pile number 2, we have this peach aventurine palm stone. And for pile number 3, we have indigo gabbro. This one is also called mystic merlinite. So yes, take as much time as you need to make your selection, and I will be getting started with pile number 1. Hi pile number 1s. This is for those of you that chose this, I don't know, I still don't know what this crystal is, but what I think is aquamarine. And I'm gonna put that there, and let's get into your reading. So I have some cards here, some oracle cards that I've already like pre-shuffled, and after we get into these, I'll be shuffling the tarot live for you so that we have some more information to figure out what good luck is coming your way. Okay, so for card number 1, we have breathe. For card number 2, we have come to the edge. And then we have hush. And finally we have loneliness. Let me read this out for you, and then we'll get into it. So this card says, when you stop fearing your aloneness, you stop settling for less than you deserve. May I embrace and love my solitude. And that's when kindred spirits can finally come. Alright, so let's get into it. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that there. So immediately what I am seeing for you guys, especially with these 2 cards, is that you might be getting a chance to head on like a little trip somewhere. I think that's like your little piece of good luck that's coming your way. I think you guys might be traveling sometime soon, either in this month, or you might be finally getting things in order so you can set out to plan a trip for yourself. And I'm seeing that with both of these cards, because this card, like, it really literally makes me think of somebody just, you know, being at like a resort and going to like a spa and like this place which is near the ocean, and it's kind of tropical. And this card, like, again, like, it just makes me, it gives me that like really tropical vibe for some reason. So I feel like maybe you guys are going to be traveling to some place which has the ocean nearby, or just a lot of really nice lakes or waterfalls, or just some kind of like large water body and like a lot of nature around you. With Come to the Edge, I feel like it's a place that a lot of people don't really visit, and the thing is, that's subjective. So for instance, it could be some place that the people around you haven't visited or haven't thought about visiting, or it could literally be a very like offbeat or off track travel destination that a lot of people like globally just don't really travel to. It could even just be some place which is kind of like an isolated or like a kind of a small place. Like suppose like it could even just be some place that you drive to that's like maybe a 2-hour drive from where you live, but it's pretty small and isolated, and like not a lot of people have heard about it, kind of like a hidden gem. And I think not only is this gonna be you going on a trip, but I feel like it's a much needed break that you have really been wanting. And I see that with this Hush card here as well, because it makes me think that you guys are finally getting into this place where you're kind of getting some peace and quiet. You could even be like into meditation, or like the place that you're going to could have like a meditation center, or it could also be that you're going on like a solo trip. Like honestly, like these cards give me very strong like solo trip vibes. Like you're just going by yourself, and that's what this loneliness card is telling me too. Like, because I know a lot of people can sort of misinterpret like this card because it says loneliness, and loneliness is kind of thought of as a bad thing. But I think that this trip that you're taking could even, like if it's a solo trip, and like especially if it's your first solo trip, you could be sort of getting over that fear of traveling by yourself and being by yourself for like a significant amount of time, or just being by yourself in a place that is unfamiliar to you. And we often think that, you know, like when we travel, I mean, I think a lot of people know that solo traveling is a thing, but it's not something that a lot of people have tried or like doing. And I feel like this is your way of figuring out whether or not this works for you. But I feel like because this is coming under good luck, I feel like if you do go on a solo trip, it's going to be something that you really, really enjoy and like and feel super rejuvenated by. I'm also drawn to these numbers right here, right? We have the number 29 and the number 36. And 29 breaks down to an 11, which makes me think of Aquarius, and 36 breaks down to 9, and 9 makes me think of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is a sign that talks about exploring and expanding your knowledge and learning new things, and just having this adventurous spirit come alive inside of you. And Aquarius talks about breaking the norms and about having this new perspective and being innovative and doing something fresh and new, and that something that goes against the grain. So I feel like that's why like all of these things combined make me feel like the good luck that's coming your way is a time of peace and isolation, where you're able to finally just be by yourself and actually enjoy your company. So if you're somebody that already enjoys solo traveling, it's just gonna you're gonna go into it with this mindset of like, of course I'm gonna enjoy this. Like I love being by myself, I love spending time with myself, and yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it. And if you're somebody that's new to solo traveling, you could be maybe a little nervous, but the minute like you finally like get out onto the road and you're by yourself, you're gonna feel so good. And I feel like this is going to really achieve this kind of peace and quiet in your mind. So I'm actually like really loving this for you guys. Let's also just get into the tarot and see if we can get some more information on what good luck is coming towards you. So what good luck is coming towards pile number 1? Ooh, we have death. Honestly, like, this is already super interesting, but I'm gonna get one more card out before I start reading. So can we get some more info on what good luck is coming towards pile number 1? We have the Four of we have the Four of Swords. So there is like a heavy emphasis on the rest that is coming your way. And I heard this like funny thing, like especially with the death card, like you're gonna like, I don't want to say that word here because some people don't like that word, and I don't know if I can say that word very easily on here. I mean, I can say the word, like the death card, right? So you're gonna sleep like you're dead, you know, and it's gonna be the most rejuvenating sleep that you're having, because like the Four of Swords again talks about just, you know, getting that time to rest and to be by yourself and really like rejuvenate and recharge your body. Because also, like, when I look at this, right, like this is a super interesting card because like this person is wearing armor, and it feels like they're being asked to take this time off because their life in general is maybe something that requires them to put in like a lot of effort. So I feel like you guys really, like, your body was asking for this break, and it could be because your life in general is like super hectic, and that's why it's like this loneliness card is coming out. Because I think, like, because your life is so hectic in general, you are used to being surrounded by people, or you're used to having to interact with a lot of people, whether or not they're people you enjoy hanging out with, right? So even though they're people that you might not like, they're not like your friends, like they're just like your colleagues, and maybe you don't like your colleagues or whatever, like it's still people around you, right? There's still like a lot of chatter. So I feel like that's why, for those of you that haven't traveled alone before, it might feel like a little sharp, like the silence of just being by yourself. And it's gonna, like, I don't think it's gonna make you feel sad or even just anxious or anything. I feel like you're just gonna feel like a little, I don't know, like positively spooked by it. That's how I can best put it across. Like, you're just gonna feel like, ooh, it's so quiet, like what's going on? And but you're actually gonna enjoy it so much. The death card is also making me think of just transformation, because the death card, that speaks of transformation, right? Because death always comes with rebirth, and that's why I feel like you're going to come out of this little trip, this little escapade, feeling like a completely new person. And what that tells me is that this trip is something that your body, your mind, your soul desperately needed. And it wasn't just for the sake of like, oh, you know, you just need to like sleep well, but just this ability to be by yourself and to do exactly what you want on your own time and the way that you want it to be done. That is something that really recharges us. And I know that like community is super important, and we all actually like thrive as social beings as well, but there's always a time when we need, you know, some space for ourselves. We need like a sacred space that we can create within ourselves. So I feel like this breathe card is also telling me that you guys will be able to access parts of yourself that you don't get to access on a daily basis. And this period of isolation, this escape is going to give you back to you in a way. And that's why it's feeling like a rebirth, because it's not just a reboot in the sense that you're changing who you are, but rather you're getting back in touch with who you are, and that's making you feel like a whole new person. So maybe if you've been feeling particularly, like, say, grouchy or, you know, just grumpy or annoyed and irritable for some time now, like maybe like a couple months or whatever, like, you're going to go on this trip and you're going to come back and you're going to feel so relaxed and you're going to feel so grounded. And that's why people around you are going to be like, oh my god, like, what happened to you? And here's the thing, like, it's not that you changed, right? It's just that you've settled into your body. And like, I'm seeing this image of, like, you know, when there's like dirty water and like all that dirt over time just sediments to the bottom, and then you can filter the clear water out. And that's what this is making me think of. Like, as long as that jar is moving, the water is going to remain murky. But the minute the jar is just set on the table and is allowed to rest for a significant period of time, all that murkiness, all that sediment, it settles down at the bottom. And I feel like that's what this trip is going to achieve for you. And with Hush, like, I'm just looking at this imagery that I drew on this card, and it's making me think of you being able to like listen to your own thoughts in the silence. Because I feel like, I just talked about like how your life in general might have been like super hectic, and you're just like around people all the time. And when we're around people all the time, sometimes, especially when we're people that don't really know how to assert ourselves, it can be very easy to merge our voice with the voice of the general public and forget what we truly want. And so I feel like you getting this time by yourself is going to be something that allows you to reconnect with that inner voice that you have, reconnect with what you actually want and what you just. It's something as simple as getting back in touch with voicing out just to yourself the things that you like or don't like. And I'm kind of like getting this visual of like, when you're like in a group, right? Like a group of friends, and you're deciding what to do for the night, and you're talking about like, oh, let's first hit this place, and then we'll go to this cafe, or then we're gonna go to this club, or we're gonna go to this person's house, or to eat this thing. And like, when these decisions are getting made, you're not somebody that has your voice heard, perhaps, and maybe you have something that you actually want to do, but somebody else in the group has like a louder voice, and so you go along with what they want. And it's not like this kind of resentful thing where you're just like, oh, nobody listens to me, because you genuinely also are okay with doing what they want. But sometimes it's nice to acknowledge what you want, right? And I think this time alone is going to give you that. Come to the Edge is also making me think, this is especially for those of you that haven't really traveled by yourself before. So for like first time solo travelers, like Come to the Edge, this is giving me like Fool energy, like the Fool in the tarot. Like they are just like at the edge of this cliff, and they have this sense of complete abandon. Like, they don't care what comes their way, or like whether they're gonna fall or fly or float or whatever. Like they don't care. All they care about is just going into this journey. And that's why it's making me think, like, the way this card is like worded, Come to the Edge, it's like you're being called by this period of isolation to come and be in it. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like I don't know if I'm wording that correctly, but basically like this period of isolation, this rest is calling out to you. And I think this pull of the rest is what's significant, because it's not like you're actively making this choice to like, oh, I'm gonna go rest. It's like you are like on this, I don't know, it feels like really significant. For the fact that we also have like the Death card, which is like a major arcana card, makes me think that this period of rest, no matter how small it is, like it could be like a 2-day escape, right? It could be a 2-day trip to a cabin in the hills, or it could be a 2-day trip to the beach that's 3 hours away or something like that. And it might seem small, like when it comes to like just numbers of hours or the number of days, but there's something about it that's significant. And I think you're going to, that's what, like, again, like what I'm saying, like this Come to the Edge, like this thing is significant. And the fact that it's calling out to you makes me feel like this is part of your path that you're just that you're just going on in your life. And how do I say this? Like, no matter how short or long this journey is, this trip is, this vacation is, there are going to be some significant insights that you have while on this trip that are really going to change you. Not change you, but rather reconnect you to this part of you that is less inhibited and less scared and less fearful and less anxious. Like you're connecting to like a deeper part of yourself, a part of you that feels stable and that feels authentic and fundamentally safe and strong. And when you connect with those truths that are within you, that changes your outwardly appearance in your environment and the way that you interact with the world. And that's why I feel like this is significant. With this loneliness card here, which is also really interesting, because like I'm sure there are like other cards in this deck which could have come out to talk about like isolation. It could talk about, maybe solitude, or just some other word that sort of implies that you're being by yourself. But the fact that loneliness is here makes me feel like that is part of why this is significant, because you're getting over your perhaps your fear of being alone. Yeah, like when you stop fearing your aloneness, you stop settling for less than you deserve. And yeah, because like you're getting so, I think this period of rest, this period of being by yourself is going to make you feel really comfortable with being by yourself, because you're gonna realize that when you start actually communicating with yourself, when you start acknowledging your own thoughts and your own beliefs and your own emotions, you feel a lot safer. And not just safer, but you also begin to really enjoy your company. So I feel like this is going to help you get over your fear of being alone, get over your fear of just, I don't know, like you're going to know for sure that you can completely survive by yourself. And it's not to say that you're going to just come back to the world like after this trip and just cut off all the people that are in your life, but rather like you're going to feel a lot more secure in yourself. Like you're going to be like, hey, like I could go on this trip by myself, I can do other things by myself, and I could just, like, I was literally silent for 2 days, 3 days, maybe a whole week. Like the only time I talked to people was when I was like maybe buying groceries or at a restaurant, or you know, when I had to ask for directions. But the rest of the time it was just me by myself. And if I could survive being by myself for a week, I can survive being with myself for 2 weeks. And like my friend, I remember like sometime last year, I remember one of my friends, she told me that one of the ways in which you can tell whether you can be with a person is sort of like double the amount of time that you've been with them. So like suppose you've been with them for 1 week, then you know that you can be with them for another week, and that makes 2 weeks in total. And when you've been with them for 2 weeks, you can be with them for 4 weeks, and how this kind of like exponentially grows. So like the longer that you spend with yourself will double the amount of time that you think you can continue surviving and even thriving by yourself. And that's what's coming through here. So yeah, like I also mentioned like earlier, that it could be that you're going on this trip within like a 2-month period, like mostly like in a month, maximum within 2 months, or that you're say like getting the funding that you need to plan like a trip. So suppose like you could head out on like a small little escapade by yourself over the weekend to some place that is like a couple hours away, or maybe you're like waiting on a paycheck or something that's going to help you plan a longer trip that is maybe overseas, or to like a destination that requires like a flight or a train or something like that. So that is what I mean also with the timeline. But yeah, that is all I'm seeing for you guys, my Padawans. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting me read for you. Like the video if it resonated, and comment down below what you think. Also subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me, because I'm loving making videos here for you guys in this little corner of the internet. And yeah, thank you. I will see you in my next one. Bye. Hi pal number 2s. This is for those of you that chose this peach aventurine crystal. It's a palm stone. It's also like the palm stone that like I literally cannot travel without. Like this is the first thing that I pack when I'm going to go traveling, especially like on a flight. I also like, this is what helps me like get through like turbulence. I used to be like scared of flying, but anyway, let's get into your reading. And yeah, I have some pre-shuffled oracle cards here for you, and once we get into these, I will then be using the tarot to get some more information about what good luck is coming your way soon. So the first card we have is Chaos and Conflict. And then we have Milk and Honey. We have If Only You Saw Me the Same Way. And finally we have Trust. Alright, so let's get into it. Also, I'm going to be reading this later, but I want to get into these cards first. The first thing that I'm kind of noticing is the numbers here. We have the number 33 and the number 51, and both of these numbers break down to the number 6. So that might be significant. Maybe some of you have significant 6th house placements, like positive 6th house placements. You could also be Virgos, because the 6th house is connected to Virgo. So that might be significant. But yeah, I think what I'm seeing very clearly here is that the good luck that's coming your way is something that has to do with your interpersonal relationships, and this could be anything. It could be your relationships with a family member, with a friend, with a romantic partner, with a romantic interest, with a crush, maybe somebody that you're just dating but you haven't solidified anything. Like, it could be like any kind of relationship. So take what resonates. And I feel like there has been some kind of, just like this card says, like chaos and conflict in your interpersonal relationship, and the good luck that's coming your way is a resolution to this conflict. And with this card here, like, if only you saw me the same way, like, this is making me think of how you and this person that are having this conflict could be people that are having these misunderstandings based on certain, just, miscommunications, or like, I'm kind of hearing the term like crossed wires. So like, something was said but it came off in a different way, and like there's this kind of, I don't know, like, this is making me think of, how do I say this, like, when I first wrote this down, also this is like a little deck that I made some years ago, but when I first wrote this down, I was thinking about it in terms of like a romantic interest. Like, when you have a romantic interest and you have a crush on them, and it's like, oh, if only you saw me the same way, like, if only you had a crush on me back. But what I'm kind of seeing, the way that I feel like the message is coming across to me right now, is that you have a way that you see yourself, and this person has a way that they see themselves, but your perspectives of each other are in some way not matching. This could also be like a one-sided thing, like maybe it's just that the person that you're interacting with, their perspective of you doesn't match your perspective of yourself. And that's why I feel like these misunderstandings are coming through, because there's a kind of very fundamental misunderstanding that I think has been happening, that just has to do with how do I say this? Like, there's been some kind of, like, again, like, it feels like chaotic almost, because like there's so many crossed wires that even I can't get the words out properly. But I'm gonna just like paint a picture for you guys so you can kind of get what I'm trying to say here. So suppose you and a friend are having an argument, and the friend thinks that you are a person, okay, let's get silly here, you are a person that likes the color blue, but you are somebody that does not like blue at all, and you don't even know like where your friend got that idea. But then your friend, they don't know that you don't like the color blue, but they think that you love the color blue, so they keep getting you blue things. They keep getting you blue flowers, blue presents, blue earrings, and you're super grateful about it because they're buying you presents and you really appreciate the energy. But then they see that you're not super excited about the present, and they think it's because you don't like them, or you don't understand the effort that they're putting into your presents. But when it's just about how you don't like the color blue, do you get what I'm saying? You're like, it's like this fundamental like misunderstanding that's happening because two parties in a conflict aren't getting like a very fundamental thing straight. And that's why I feel like it feels chaotic. It feels like there's so much miscommunication happening based on two completely different and honestly like exclusive beliefs that these two parties hold. Because you're thinking that, hey, like, this is my friend, like, why are they constantly giving me the things that are blue when I don't like the color blue? And your friend is thinking they love the color blue, but your friend who doesn't know that you don't like the color blue is thinking, oh, like, why are they not appreciating the effort that I'm putting in and the gifts that I'm buying for them? So there's two completely different beliefs that are, like, again, like, completely mutually exclusive. They have no, like, overlap at all. But, like, suppose you come into an argument with those two beliefs in mind, and there's, like, a lot of just, it takes, like, a lot of time to just figure it out, like, what the issue even is. And you might think it's a fairly simple issue to solve, but sometimes I feel like in relationships it's easy to, like, get riled up. But of course, like, the example that I'm using is very simple. It's about colors, but now you can apply this to, like, your relationships, and these can obviously be about, like, more serious topics, right? These can be about more serious beliefs, about opinions, about lifestyles, about choices that you make together as people in a relationship, in any relationship, as a family or whatever. And so we're clearly, like, both parties are pretty, like, they feel strongly about what they want and what they want to convey. But right now, like, because, like, right now meaning, like, recently, like, maybe the emotions have been heightened, and that's why a lot of the words haven't been properly thought out and a communication hasn't been able to be established. And I feel like that's the kind of issue that this is making me think of. And milk and honey to me feels like immediate sort of relief, like something is just dawning and you guys are like, oh, like, what's happening, like, why are we arguing about this, like, wait, we're not getting something right, like, it's something like that. And I feel like, again, like I said, like, the example I used is very simple, right? It's about a color, but this could be more significant to you guys. And that's why I feel like the imagery of this card in particular, I don't know if you can see, but it's like a zebra's body with, like, a giraffe's print, and it's making me think of how you guys will be coming to a compromise, right? Because it's making me think of, like, there's a zebra and there's a giraffe, and they both want to exist, but only one can exist. So they choose to just merge and exist as one, with the zebra's body but the giraffe's print, right? So there's some kind of compromise, and you two are merging together and just choosing to coexist peacefully and constructively, rather than hold on to something that in the long term won't actually matter. And that's what it's like. Another reason why it's making me think of compromise is because both of these numbers come down to a 6, and yet both of these numbers are very different. We have 33 and then we have 51, and it's not even like we're seeing, like, say, I don't know what are some, like, it's not like we're seeing 24 and 42 where it's just, like, flipped, but, like, the numbers are similar. The numbers are different. We have two repeating numbers here, two different numbers here. So it's like two people coming from different understandings and two different perspectives and just two different beliefs or whatever, and they're coming to the same number still. They're coming to 6. And 6, the 6th house is also the house of service and of help. So I feel like you guys are prioritizing, like, having a healthy relationship and having healthy communication, or holding on to maybe pride or your ego, or just winning for the sake of winning, you know? And that's why, like, milk and honey also, because milk and honey also are so different, but, like, when you put them together, it's sweet, it sweetens the milk, but it also mellows out the honey, and it feels like a nice, wonderful kind of mixture of two different things. It could also be that you guys, like, are able to spend time together in a setting that helps you bring to light the positives of your connection. So if this is with a romantic partner, you could be going on, like, a really nice date, or if this is with a family member, you could be, you know, having just, like, a day together. Like, you know, suppose you had a fight with your mom, and then your mom is like, hey, do you want to just, you know, spend some time together? We could go shopping, or, you know, just we could just have lunch together. So some kind of setting where you guys are just being able to be just one-on-one together and just enjoy each other's company, and a lot of, like, the remnants of this chaos and conflict will then fade away. So this could also be that you guys have already sort of sorted the conflict, but there's still a kind of tension in the air, and both of you wanted to diffuse, but you don't know how. but something is happening which is really melting the situation and feeling really soft and warm and light. And that's what's coming through. With the trust card, I also feel like this good luck that's coming your way is a period where both of you, like all these parties in this connection, in this situation, are able to trust each other way more. So again, this comes back to what I said here, like if only you saw me the same way. So if this was about how, you know, how you see yourself and how this other person sees you, and how there's like a discrepancy somewhere there, and it's like a discrepancy that feels hurtful, that is sort of melting away. That's kind of just the tension there is being diffused, because both parties are now kind of focusing on how they can trust each other here. So like this, I think, like it's almost going in this sequence, right? Like when you spend time together in this way, which allows you to just enjoy each other's company and remember that you both are like good people trying your best, it's also going to increase your trust in each other. So you know, sometimes in conflict it can be easy to feel like the other person is trying to be malicious, and it can be easy in those times to feel distrustful of them. But now I feel like that trust factor is coming back, and the distrust was something that was maybe just this momentary heated lapse. And I think now is the perfect time to read this. It says, when love is invited to take over, right actions arise at the right time. Look at that. Like, so it's like you both are prioritizing your love and trust for each other, and the right actions then just automatically follow, because once you trust the other person to know you and to have your best interests at heart, you also kind of are able to settle down and calm down and act from a space of trust and love. Allow me, dear divine, to wait patiently until the timing is right. Let me rest in the unknown until a clear path is shown. That's very interesting. I think this also sort of is talking about how sometimes it just takes time to get through like a rough patch with someone, and it's just a matter of, yeah, like I said, it's just a matter of time. That so maybe like if you've been feeling like in your head about how this relationship is maybe suffering because of the chaos and conflict that has occurred or is currently occurring, then this is a message for you to hold on. Because, you know, like I said earlier, like this milk and honey card made me think of like how you guys are spending time together and realizing that you both are just good people trying your best. So I feel like this trust card is telling you that you don't need to be scared about this relationship crumbling or this relationship severely suffering, because even though it might feel like a big thing, it's something that you guys can easily get over, because your love and your trust for each other is way stronger than whatever this chaos and conflict is. So even if right now things feel tense, don't worry. Like, you know, just have faith and trust that it will sort of smooth over with time. This doesn't mean that you don't need to like act to better this relationship, but it is saying that make sure that your actions aren't coming from a place of fear. So you aren't just trying to appease this person because you're scared that they will in some way abandon you or leave you or reject you, but do it from a place of love and trust in this other person. And only when you feel like you can act from a place of trust, act then. You know, don't act when you're still in like a mindset of fear. So I feel like that's the kind of message that's coming through. But let's get some more messages from the tarot here for you guys. Okay, so what is some good luck that is coming to pile number 2? What is some good luck coming to pile number 2? We have the Queen of Cups. That is such a... Okay, this is such a gorgeous card, first off. I'm gonna put that there, and let's get one more card before we start reading. What is good luck that is... Okay. We have the Seven of Swords. Okay, this is literally like, I think it says pretty accurately everything that I've sort of been saying up until now. But the Seven of Swords makes me think of exactly that. You know, when you feel like you can't trust the other person because of some miscommunication or because of just the heightened emotions that you're having in this period of conflict. But this Queen of Cups is again kind of acting as this reminder that you guys are both like emotionally intelligent people, and you guys are both, honestly, you're just like, you're good people that are trying your best. Like, I keep saying that, and I feel like maybe that's significant. So maybe you're somebody that like has this kind of like imposter syndrome or something, like where you don't believe that you're a good person, or you're constantly second guessing whether you are a good person. So I feel like it's like a message coming through that, you are a good person. Like, don't get so hung up about it. Like, you are a good person and you are trying your best, and the universe sees that. And they say, it's like how people say that like one of the short signs of figuring out whether or not you're a good person is when you're constantly worrying about whether or not you are a good person. Of course, I think there's like a lot more nuance to that, but like I feel like in this particular situation that you guys are good people and you are loving and trusting, and it's just like a capacity that you need to kind of get back in touch with. But I'm kind of also looking at how this person in this card right here is looking towards the Queen of Cups, but the Queen of Cups is looking like towards us, and that again is making me think of how this is moving. Like, this is like a trajectory from like this feeling of like mistrust moving towards this feeling of a lot more emotional stability and just feeling calm and feeling safe also. Because something about this card right here is making me think of just someone that feels really loved. And I think that comes from this trust card, like, this increased trust that you guys are going to be able to have with each other. And that's going to allow you to just, I don't know, like, focus on what matters. Like, I feel like this era of, like, just always having to look at what the other person in this relationship is doing because you're, like, second guessing their moves, or you're just, like, trying to figure out whether or not they mean something maliciously. Like, that's ending. So you can just focus on what matters, and you can focus on just building and strengthening your bond together. The Queen of Cups here is also making me think of just like a mother figure. So this could be like, this conflict could be, something that you had with a mother figure, or with your daughter, or even with like somebody who kind of is a mother figure to you. Could even be like a grandmother. It could be either that you had some conflict with your mom, or you had some conflict with your daughter if you are a mom yourself. And so that could be significant to some of you. But I'm also looking right now at this card here and how this Queen of Cups is holding this cup in her hand, and it almost feels like this peace offering coming through. So I feel like if this is something that you are like perhaps having like an argument with your mother, or you're having an argument with your daughter, I feel like the mother figure in this relationship is the one who's going to be kind of coming forth very gently with the peace offering. So it's like, when you pop your head around the door, like as a mom, and you're like, hey, like, you tell your kid, like, do you wanna get lunch together? Do you wanna go shopping? Do you wanna go for a drive? Do you wanna go for a grocery run? So some kind of like very gentle peace offering, which kind of paves the way for you to like just reconnect with this person after a period of conflict. And I'm getting this like very wholesome image of like a mother figure, and like a mother and a daughter basically in a grocery store, and how like they start off the day like kind of cold and tense, but like, they get to the grocery store, and the mom makes like this joke or something, like this kind of long-standing family joke about one of the groceries, or she makes like a pun, and the kid just starts laughing. Like it's like a begrudging laugh at first, but then all the tension has then diffused. So I feel like that's the good luck coming your way. This moment of release. This moment of release in a conflict that you've been having with somebody. And I feel like this is something that is actually really significant, because sometimes, like, to me, like, this moment when both parties just automatically know that things are back to normal, not because we're ignoring something, but because we're moving past something, we're moving through something. Like, we've acknowledged everything, and this is like a peace offering that somebody made in this relationship, which is kind of allowing things to just melt and settle down and come back to like a state of equilibrium. And I feel like sometimes, like, when we have conflict with people, we don't get that very wholesome moment of release, because sometimes it's just something that you have to like talk through, and you know, you come to like some sort of begrudging like compromise, and yeah, like over time things go back to normal. But when that laughter breaks, you know, like when I, in this example that I'm giving you, right, like that laughter feels so, it feels like it's making me think of this rainbow, very literally. Like, you know, the skies are just like after a storm, like the sky is clearing and you can see the sunshine. That's what it makes me think of. So I feel like that's the feeling that you guys are going to have, this just very innate warmth of, oh, like things are gonna be okay, we have each other, and that's what matters, and we're gonna figure this out. Like, I love this energy, honestly. And oh, also the number 6 is significant because the 6 is the card of the return. And if you are familiar with like numerology, or like just like the significance of the numbers, right? So we have the number 1, which is like the individual self, and then we have 2, which is union, right? And then we have 3, 4, 5, and then 6 is the returning union. Because oh my god, exactly, yeah, like because 5 is the card of change and conflict and transformation. So 6 is the union that comes after conflict, and it's a much stronger union. It's a much more just fulfilling kind of union. It's not just a union because there's 2 people that exist and they're coming together. It's a union because there's a greater understanding and a greater emphasis on love and trust, and a greater emphasis on just prioritizing love in your relationship, and that kind of union. So yeah, this feels really special and sacred and warm and wholesome, and I'm super like, I can't wait for you guys to have this moment. But that is all I'm seeing for you guys. Yes, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you liked the video, leave me a like and comment down below if this resonated. And also subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos from me, because I'm loving making videos for you guys in this little corner of the internet. So yes, thank you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! Hi pile number 3s. This is for those of you that chose this indigo gabbro. And let's get into your reading. Actually, before we get into your reading, I do want to talk about this stone, because when I was shuffling like your pre-shuffled cards and getting out your oracle cards for this reading, I had like this very strong, like I just saw like this crystal in my mind, and I knew that I wanted this crystal for this pile. Usually I just like shuffle all the cards for each of the piles, and then I just pick a stone based on the energy of the pile. But this is like the first time where I just kind of shuffle like one card or something, and then I just saw like this crystal in my mind's eye or something, and I felt like that was maybe significant, so I kind of like looked it up to get some more info on like what its properties are. And this stone is significant for things like insight and knowledge and balancing just all aspects of yourself. It could even be like a powerful stone for shadow work, and it helps a lot with, I think, just like kind of coming to terms and finding equilibrium with all the parts of yourself, and just kind of, yeah, like I think that's why like it makes me think of shadow work, right? Because shadow work is about like meeting these parts of yourself that you sort of hidden away, and shadow work is about bringing those lights to the fore and then kind of merging them into your being. And I think that's something that's going to be significant for you guys, so I thought I'd just look that up. And yeah, now let's get into your reading. So the first card we have for you is Orphaned. I'm gonna put that there. The next card we have is Deep Knowing. The third little card we have is I'm lucky to have found you again. And finally, we have Striving. I'm gonna read like what this card says before we get into the rest of the reading. So, Striving. Eventually, the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arise. Thank you, Divine, for letting me move with the flow. Alright, that's a really nice message. I'm gonna hold it up in case you guys want to read it yourself. And okay, let's get into this. So immediately what I'm sort of looking at is this card right here, and like Orphaned. And I know that maybe some of you might be looking at this card and feeling like a little confused because this reading is about good luck coming your way, and the card Orphan doesn't necessarily seem to evoke that very good luck kind of feeling. But I feel like there's like a very kind of strong message here, especially connected to like this particular crystal and why, I just saw that it had to be placed for you guys. I think it has to do with just coming back to yourself, and how do I say this, but like making yourself, like capital S self, a safe home for all parts of yourself. And that's what this card does make me think of, like I'm lucky to have found you again. You would think that could mean like about a different person, but I feel like this is talking especially about yourself. So I'm lucky to have found you again. It's like you're telling parts of yourself that you're lucky to have found them. So like I said, like with the shadow work, like things that have been sort of pushed away over time, and like shadow work is about bringing those parts of yourself to the forefront. So it's like you're re-encountering a part of yourself that has been abandoned for so long. And I think that's, yeah, like exactly like Orphaned, like a part of you that felt just abandoned and isolated and just separated from the rest of you is now sort of coming into the light. And Deep Knowing as well, like that's what this is making me think of, like as if you're like going deeper and finding this version of you. Like I'm also like I'm just getting this like image of somebody just swimming like deeper and deeper in the sea, but not swimming, but rather like kind of going underwater and just like going deeper and deeper into the ocean, and just discovering new things and finding almost like I'm feeling like treasure. Like usually like the deeper you go into the ocean, the darker it gets, but I'm seeing like the deeper you're going, there's almost like this light that's coming through from the depths of the ocean. And that light is like this part of you that has been sort of kind of overlooked or just like pushed away over time. And I also feel like this is especially for those of you that have perhaps in the recent past felt just abandoned by the people around you. Like maybe it could be that you had a falling out with a friend, or maybe you are getting over like a breakup, or maybe you had to make a decision where you had to cut off like a family member or something, and if after that moment you felt just really just isolated and abandoned by those people, I think the good luck that's coming your way has to do with just reconciling and finding peace with the situations that you have been put through, and kind of recovering like a lost strength. And I feel like this is also making me think of just, I don't know, for some reason, like even though these cards feel like a little more serious, there's a sort of like, I feel intuitively like this kind of playfulness, almost like you're reconnecting with an inner child. You're reconnecting with your inner child, and you're just kind of almost like this adult version of you is relying finally on this inner child that has been pushed away for so long. And that the playfulness of your inner child, which perhaps had been pushed away for so long, is something that is now giving you that light. Like, oh my god, yeah, like, you know, like I said, you're going down deeper and deeper into this ocean, which is technically supposed to be darker. And I think a lot of people, when they set out to do shadow work, they think of it as like, oh, look at what, like, all these dark secrets I'm gonna be uncovering. Like, who knows what traumas I've hidden, and who knows what pain I've hidden. And yeah, that's so true. Like, often we hide like a lot of trauma and pain to save like our alert consciousness from, you know, just the hurtfulness of thinking about it all. But sometimes when you do shadow work, you also reveal a lot of good things about yourself. You remember and recollect good memories and just really empowering and positive parts of yourself. So like, this is like I'm getting this image of you there's this word, I don't know if you know, in like shadow work, it's called the golden shadow. And that's exactly what this refers to. When you find something in your shadow work that is actually something that is positive and helps you become a better version of yourself. Like, all shadow work does eventually help you become a better version of yourself, because you're addressing your fears. But sometimes you don't find only fears, right? You find light. And I feel like this inner child that I'm seeing that you guys are reconnecting with is somebody that is just youthful and playful and carefree. And in this time where you are feeling perhaps abandoned, you're able to then rely on your inner playfulness and inner youthfulness and inner just carefree attitude to sort of get you through something that feels a little tough. And that's why it feels like I'm lucky. Oh my god, this card, oh, how did I not even see this? Like, this reading is about good luck, and we have lucky here. Like, I'm lucky to have found you again. So it's like, oh, look at these like little arms that I drew. Also, this is like a little oracle card that I have like this deck, tiny little deck that I made like years ago. But yeah, like, I drew this like little imagery here of like these two arms, and it feels like you're just hugging like this, your inner child. But you know, it just means that you're hugging yourself, and you're just like, oh, I just feel so, oh, it's such a nice feeling. And yeah, I feel like it's something that's like, that feels unexpected. Like, you didn't expect when you were setting out to do this work that you would discover something so light and playful and joyful. Because that's what, like, eventually the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arise. So I feel like maybe, like, okay, so let me just paint you a picture here. Like, let me give you an example. So suppose you had to, say, cut off a family member, or maybe you had a falling out with a friend, and you're having these very intense feelings come up, like when you're feeling alone, you're feeling abandoned, and you're feeling really isolated, and you're like, okay, I need to, you know, set out and do some serious work on myself and get through this period of life, and I need to just strengthen myself, and I need to work on what's making me feel so isolated, what's making me feel so abandoned, and I need to get better. And so you're kind of coming into it with this very like practical attitude of solving a problem, but then you stop trying to make it happen, right? You stop trying to force your growth, you stop trying to force a certain outcome onto yourself. And in that process, when you're just like stepping back and you're like, you know what, let it just happen. Like, let me just give in to my pain, my grief. Like, right now, if I've lost a friend, let me just sit and mourn that relationship. Or if I've cut off a family member, even if I had to make that decision, let me just be sad about the fact that I had to make that decision in the first place. And you just allow like the universe then to kind of move for you, and the universe brings this part of you out. And it's like, I know right now you're feeling really like alone, but look at this wonderful part of you that's going to keep you company, that's going to tide you through these times. So it's like, it's almost like this part of you is just coming through, like coming out of the woodwork, like without you even sort of knowing. And it's making me think of, I'm getting this like image of like somebody when they're suppose you're working at like a tapestry, right? Or like suppose you're crocheting something, and so you're very focused on the individual stitch. You're like, oh, I just need to get the next stitch, the next stitch, the next stitch. But then you're like, you know what, let me put this down and let me take a step back because I'm so tired and this is not working out. And when you step back, you're like, oh my god, like I've crocheted this beautiful tapestry without even realizing. So it's like, it's not that you haven't worked on that tapestry, but like you didn't see it until you took a step back, until you took a break from just working on what you were working on. So you can only appreciate what exists when you give yourself the space to appreciate it, and when you just allow yourself to stop working and striving for an outcome. So that's what I'm saying. I'm also going to get into the tarot so we can get some more information on what good luck is coming your way. So what good luck is coming towards pile number 3? Two of Swords. Wow. I'm gonna get one more card. What is some good luck that is coming towards pile number 3? Can we get some more information? Okay. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Oh my god, this is perfect. Alright. So what I'm seeing right now is like, okay, I'm just looking at this card right here, right? And the Two of Swords is such an interesting card, and like in all my years of reading the tarot, I have never been able to pin down one message to the Two of Swords. And I feel like it's kind of like for a reason, because like there's some kind of like energy that I just don't get about the Two of Swords, that it feels like it just can't be, you know, kind of defined in one single line. But what I'm seeing for you guys right now is that you've been trying so hard to think your way through something, and you don't even realize that you're going into it blind. Like, it's so interesting because like we think we have, I don't know how to say this, like I'm gonna get like a little abstract here, but stay with me, guys. So sometimes when we're doing like a lot of like just intellectualizing a problem, we think we're going into the situation with our eyes wide open, that we can see everything. But the thing is, like in some way we are still completely blind to the truth of the situation, because as long as we're intellectualizing something, we are keeping it limited to the area of the mind, to the area of what is verbally expressible, what is easily definable, right? Like I said with this card itself. But when we just allow ourselves to step back and just be like, you know what, like right now nothing makes sense. Right now I just feel bad, and that's all I know. Like, yeah, like maybe I could sit and do like all this shadow work and try to journal my way out of this, or think my way out of this, or just, I don't know, like just analyze this problem in my life. Like I could do all those things, but I know I'm not gonna get to the answer, because at the end of the day, like emotionally nothing feels like it makes sense. And in those times when you just sit with your emotions, you will realize that there is an intelligence in your emotions as well. So I feel like, oh my god, this is such a wow, I feel this message, so I feel it in my bones, you guys. That, you know, we think about how we need to stop intellectualizing things and start feeling things, and I think just in the way that we word that, there's this like idea that what is intellectualized is inherently more intelligent, and that feeling your emotions is just something you have to do before you can go back to thinking what your problems. But the thing is, our emotions hold so much wisdom, you guys. Our emotions, like, they, just because the knowledge they give us isn't verbally expressible, isn't easily put down in words, does not mean that that information is not extremely important. And that's what, like, deep knowing, right? Like, it's just something that happens inside of you, and it is so wise, and it teaches you in a way that you cannot even get that message across properly to another person. So like, no, it's like almost like no two people who experience the wisdom of their emotions can actually communicate that very well, because there's always going to be this element of like, how do I even explain this, right? So it's like, you guys, the good luck that is coming your way is being able to just take a step back from yourself to discover yourself. Does that make sense to you? Like, like you're taking a step back from constantly being in your conscious mind and like trying to analyze things and figure things out, and you're sinking into the depths of your consciousness. You're going down to the subconscious, to the unconscious, and in that process this light is coming through from this depths of these oceans of yourself, and you're finding this inherent inner light, this inherent inner wisdom that's coming through. Like for me, I was talking about like the inner child, right? Like that's the version of you that's coming forward to help you through a tough time. And the Nine of Pentacles here is making me think of just, again, like, do you guys remember like the crochet example that I gave you, that you're just like working on this one thing and you're just like, oh, I need to get to the next stitch, the next stitch, the next stitch, the next loop, and then you take a step back and you're like, oh my god, like I have made a wonderful tapestry. That's what this is making me think of. Like, you guys need to take a step back and properly appreciate what you've actually done. And the thing is, like, somehow, like, along this journey of like trying to figure things out, because I definitely feel like you guys are people that are really actually committed to your personal growth and to your spiritual growth. But sometimes when we're always thinking about the next milestone, it can be very difficult to actually take a step back and realize that we've already learned quite a lot. And I feel like now is a time for you to step back and actually allow yourself to appreciate yourself and pat yourself on the back for the work you've put in. And I feel like it's almost going to happen simultaneously, right? Like if you, when you take a step back from trying to just intellectualize your way out of your problems, and you sink into the depths of your consciousness and discover the wisdom in your emotions, in your pain, you also find the light, you find your golden shadow. And when you meet your golden shadow and they give to you this playfulness, this lightness, it almost like illuminates the work that you've already put into yourself, and you're like, oh my god, like I didn't even notice all of this. So it's almost like initially when I gave you this like kind of person swimming in the ocean example, like it was kind of active, like they were trying to swim deeper, but right now I'm thinking of somebody just like kind of floating downwards, you know, and they're still facing the surface of the ocean, right? So it's like when you go deeper, you see the larger picture. You see the larger picture that's being drawn. Like your perspective literally expands in front of you the further you step away from something, right? And that's allowing you to see your handiwork, the work that you actually put in. And I feel like it's so easy to get caught up in like trying to progress to the next step that we don't get to first things that we don't get to appreciate are the work that we've put in, but we also don't get to see it in action, right? And so if we don't even see the work we've put in, we don't see the effects of the work we've put in, how do we know that we truly have that with us? And how can we then apply that to something else, right? So like, unless you actually acknowledge that, oh, this is strength I have given myself over time, how will you be able to use that strength in situations where you need it? So I feel like you feeling kind of tense or anxious or abandoned in the situation is something that is very easily avoidable, because you have put in the work to feel less abandoned, and you don't need to keep selling yourself the same story that you need to get over your fear of abandonment, because you have been working on it, but you're just like, oh, I need to get over my fear of abandonment, I need to get over my fear of abandonment, and you're going forward with that thought over and over again. But then it's like, you are working on it. You just need to take a step back and be like, oh wait, I did get over my fear of abandonment, I just never acknowledged it and I never put it into use. So like, stepping back is also going to allow you to see the work you've put in, and then acknowledge and then put that work into use. So of course, like, these are just like kind of examples I'm giving. Like, this fear of abandonment is one example out of like many experiences that you could have. So take this as it resonates and apply it to your personal situations. But I feel like this is the good luck that's coming your way, that you're being able to really acknowledge the work that you've put in, and you're being able to just allow yourself to feel the wisdom that lies in your subconscious, and you're through that wisdom you're also able to like access more parts of you that give you this kind of playful, joyful feel. So I feel like there's like a lot of kind of moving elements here, but it all comes together to form this kind of coherent story, and it all feels like it's very like it goes together. But yeah, that's what I feel like that's why this like stone was significant, right? Because this stone talks about shadow work, and it also talks about balance and equilibrium, and just I don't know, like this stone making me think of just like figuring things out, but in a way that actually, you know, has long-term positive effect. And you can only figure things out in that way when you stop trying to constantly figure things out in a small, tense way. Do you get? I hope that you're getting what I'm saying, but I think I sort of explained it like over the course of this reading. But yes, that is what I am seeing for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you liked the video, leave me a like and comment down below if this resonated. And if you'd like to watch more videos from me, please subscribe to my channel, because I'm loving making videos here for you guys in this little corner of the internet. So yes, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!